Margaret is struggling to match a fabric that she loves. Donna is changing direction on a project. And Diane needs help with a fabric impulse purchase. Let's help them out. Hi, it's Fran Morgan with Fabric Café, and I'm your fabric matchmaker. It's always fun to give your quilts an extra pop, and metallic fabrics can really make that happen. Today, we're going to help out 3 people who are struggling to match their metallic fabrics. Let's check out the first one. Now, our first fabric was sent in by Margaret, and this is a gorgeous fabric. Now, we do have all of our metallic outlining, all of our shapes here, and this almost looks like a heart shape with a little swirl, which I think is very cool. And it has lots of extra little lines of metallic and dots that are outlined in metallic. Beautiful jade green background with some aqua blues, some purples, some really deep burgundies. Absolutely gorgeous fabric, Margaret. Let's see what she has to say about this. So Margaret writes, I spotted this fabric at my local quilt shop during my shop hop and fell in love with the dark teal and dark plum, but didn't buy it. I went back to the quilt shop 2 more times before I finally purchased it. I love the fabric because it looks so rich and majestic and would make a beautiful lap quilt. However, I cannot figure out what other fabrics to choose. Nothing I pick seems to work. I need your help, Margaret. Well, Margaret, I think we have just the thing. Let's check out the quilt. So Margaret, I am so grateful that you went back to the store and picked up this fabric because it is going to look gorgeous in our ornaments pattern. Now, this is a fun pattern. We have a little square here that actually has a stitch and flip method on the corner, so there's no half square triangles. Then we have a nice big band here that you can put a very special fabric, and it all goes together and just looks amazing. Now this one kind of looks like a box of Christmas ornaments, but on yours we have something really special I can't wait to share. So Margaret, we are placing your fabric in the #1 position because after all, with all of that beautiful metallic, we really want it to shine and be shown off properly. And it is going to go everywhere that you see the red on the ornaments quilt here. Now we have paired it with a gorgeous kind of dark red and a jade green because those are some of the colors that are in your fabric. So for our #2, and this is kind of dark for a #2, we kind of stretched the rules just a little bit, but I wanted to keep that richness and that really elegant look with your fabric, so I went a little darker. So this beautiful red here is going to go in the background, so it's going to be everywhere you see the white. And then the gorgeous jade green that picks up the jade greens in your fabric will be our #3, and it's going to border on either side of your fabric so that it really frames it because it is like the perfect shade of jade green for your fabric, and it has lots of lights and darks in it, a little bit of texture, both in a sprinkle kind of a look as well as a kind of a line look here that almost looks like someone has dry brushed it with a paintbrush. So it's very pretty. And let me give you a little bit of a tip whenever you're trying to match an unusual fabric. If you get a texture like this one, the lights and the darks kind of keep it looks like it matches even though it might not be perfect. Now this one is perfect. However, but if you're trying to do it, sometimes it really helps to pick a fabric with that light and dark so that it really blends beautifully together. I love the way this turned out. I really think it's great, and I like that we put 2 fabrics that were a little bit more simple with your fabric, Margaret, because your fabric is so elegant, has that gorgeous metallic, and it is highlighted right here. Now I want to mention one more thing. Your fabric is a directional fabric, and we did a very unusual thing in putting it in ornaments. We are turning it every time, but it works in this case because it's in the center of this oval. Doesn't this look so elegant and just, it's nostalgic feeling, it's rich, it's elegant, and it just looks so high-end to me. And I love the way your fabric is on the border that is in between that red and just frames it so, so well. I think it's just gorgeous. All right, now, Margaret, I am going to be sending you 1 yard of the number 2, the red, and 1 yard of the number 3, the jade green, as well as the book Quick Christmas 3-Yard Quilts. This has the pattern for the ornaments in it. I want to thank you so much for sending in your fabric. This was a really fun one to put together, and I really, really like the way it turned out. Okay, let's see what we have that Margaret has inspired for the rest of us. So I found this perfect fabric that has a similar feel to Margaret's. I think it has that same kind of Art Nouveau feel, and it's a little bit in a stripe the way Margaret's is, and it's a very subtle stripe, but it works so perfect in our number 1 and in that position, because this is a long, narrow spot, and this will create this really neat look right here in the middle of the ornaments. So everywhere the red is here is where our focus is going to go. Now we've paired it with that same beautiful dark, dark red, which, like we said, we put this in our number 2, which is a little unusual, but it works. It goes everywhere the white is and on the border, and it picks up the dark reds in the focus fabric. And then our beautiful, beautiful jade with all those lights and darks and multiple textures going on just really adds the richness to everything, and that's going to go where the green is. I love the way the jade green frames our focus fabric and really gives it that interest. The fact that this is a directional fabric and we've put it in a position where the blocks turn, but because it's a stripe and it creates that line, it works really well. So when you turn it, it just looks like that your block is supposed to be that way because it stays with that line of the piecing. And I think it works beautiful. And of course, that jade green and red is just so, so yummy. All right, the kit information on this one is called Majestic Hues, and it is the Ornaments pattern from our Quick Christmas 3-Yard Quilts. So our next fabric was sent in by Donna, and once again we have a beautiful metallic. We have a floral here that is all outlined in golds with a lot of texture on the leaves behind the flowers that are also outlined in gold. We have grays and creams and a dark green, and all of the metallic on top of it just creates such an elegant, elegant fabric. It's a nice size print too that we can do a lot of different things with. So let's see what Donna has to say about her fabric. Donna writes, I am not sure where I got this fabric, but it spoke to me. When I was working as an LPN, I was planning to make a scrub top or maybe a jacket. Well, since I am 13 years retired, I'd like to make it into a quilt. But what goes with it? I enjoy making charity quilts through my church and will be looking into doing a Quilt of Valor through my American Legion Auxiliary. I would like this to go to someone who will be comforted by it. Thanks for your assistance with this lovely problem, Donna. Well, Donna, I think we have a great solution for you. Let's check out the quilt. Now, I have chosen Yuletide for your fabric, Donna. I think it's going to work amazing. We have a really fun pattern here with a great big half square triangle, which are super easy to do. Then our star that is all made with the stitch and flip method, which makes it super easy. And it is a really bold pattern for some really great fabric, which you got to start it on. So let's go check it out. Now, Donna, I think that your fabric is perfect for the Yuletide pattern. Couple of reasons why. First, I think the scale is spot on for this pattern because we're going to be putting it into our star here, which is a little bit smaller piecing, but then in our half square triangle on the alternate block, which is a little bit bigger, and yours is kind of right in the middle. So it's going to really fit in both places perfectly. Now also, remember, we have that metallic on your fabric, which is going to help the center of that star really shine. I love putting metallic fabrics in all kinds of things, but especially stars, because it's that extra little shine, and this just gives the star a little bit more glow, which I love. Okay, so we've paired your fabric with a beautiful cream texture here, and it almost looks like linen because it kind of has that cross hatch to the background. A little bit of texture there that is going to go everywhere you see the cream here, and it's going to give us the contrast that we need for the star and a little bit on the border there. For our number 3, and I really, really like this number 3 fabric. It is a dark black fabric with a floral that is all printed in gold. It is so pretty, and I thought it was perfect for your fabric because it kind of mimics the fact that your fabric is a floral with the gold. It's almost like a shadow of your fabric, which is kind of neat. And it has that gold metallic on it, which I really think helps the quilt sparkle. And I love the contrast of the black, the cream with your fabric. Now the black is going to go everywhere you see the red, just a little shadow on the star, as well as on our half square triangle and on the binding to frame it in just a little bit. I think this goes together so stunning. I think it created a quilt that's just breathtaking. And you can see how the cream and the black blend so beautifully with your metallic floral. I think it is gorgeous. Your floral, like I said right off the bat, is the perfect scale for this pattern. And I think it really shines in that position. And of course, that metallic helps, of course. So when you're using a metallic fabric, consider a star kind of like the one here in Yuletide. It goes together really quick, and I think that metallic just gives it a little extra glow. Okay, so Donna, for participating today, we appreciate it so, so much. I'm going to be sending you 1 yard of our number 2 and 1 yard of our number 3 fabric, as well as a copy of the book, Quick Christmas 3-Yard Quilts, and this has the Yuletide pattern in it. I think it worked beautifully. If you make this up, I would love to see a picture of it. So be sure and send that to welisten@fabriccafe.com. Okay, let's see what we can get for everyone else. I couldn't find the exact fabric that Donna sent in, but I wanted to have the same look and feel as Donna's fabric. So I stayed in a similar colorway on the focus fabric. Now this is a beautiful paisley, and I really like this for this pattern as well. We have our darker browns, our light browns, our white background. I think it looks really great in the focus position. So that is going to be everywhere the black is here in our half square triangle, little on the border, perfect. Now we've paired it with the same number 2 and 3. So our number 2 is that wonderful light beige, creamy white with that texture that kind of has a linen texture to it. I like that as the background because it really contrasts well with our focus fabric and our number 3. Now our number 3 fabric is that gorgeous black that has the flower kind of imprint made with the metallic, so we still get some of that sparkle going on. And that black is going to be in the background on your star as well as on the red section of your half square triangle. So to really see how this goes together, because you're thinking, okay, it's not a floral, it's not exactly the same way. So we have that wonderful texture in our half square triangles that really gives us a lot of movement in that square. That star is just shining bright with that shadow of the black in the background. And I really think it works. I really think it turned out super well. And once again, the scale of the paisley is just perfect for this pattern. Now, if you really like this pattern, we have a sew-along video where you can see me make this quilt and see just how easy it is. And I give lots of tips and tricks, so be sure and check it out. Okay, let's get you the kit information on this one because it's spectacular. It is called Paisley Comfort. It is our Yuletide pattern from the book Quick Christmas 3-Yard Quilts. So Diane sent in our next fabric, and once again, we have a beautiful fabric with metallic on it. This is another kind of a stripe here, which is really cool. It once again has a little bit of that Art Nouveau feeling, but you can see it is outlined and decorated with all of this metallic. Like these paisleys all have metallic on it. They're gorgeous. All of this is outlined with metallic. These little stars in here, our little flourishes here have some metallic on it. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. Let's find out what Diane has to say. Diane writes, I purchased this fabric 10 years ago on the spur of the moment, all because it looked so elegant. They are my sister's favorite colors, so I had her in mind as the recipient of the quilt. Well, I never found a pattern where it would work. I've considered donating or tossing it out many times as it reminds me of my impulse purchase. You are my last hope. Please help. Thank you so much, Diane. Well, Diane, I think we have something really fun for you. Let's go check out the quilt. Now, Diane, your fabric is a stripe, and we found the perfect pattern for stripes. This is Courtyard. You can actually use a stripe in all 3 positions, which is very unique. So we have a nice square and a square here, which works great with a stripe. Then we have our little pieced block here that creates this kind of windmill effect that is also going to look great in a stripe. And it's all going to go together so fast, so easy, and look amazing. Let's get it on the table and look at the fabric. Now, Diane, I have your fabric in the number 1 position here. And before we start pointing out where everything goes on the quilt, I want to mention something about your fabric. It's directional. It is like a stripe, which is beautiful. It is so elegant, as you said, and I am so grateful that you didn't toss it out because I want to share with you how to use stripes. Your fabric in the number 1 position is going to go everywhere you see the larger floral print here. Now, when you make this, you don't have to worry about how your fabric is cut. Just cut it the way the instructions are and it's going to fall properly. It's going to go this way on the sides and then it'll go this way on the top and bottom. And of course on the border you'll have it this way as well. It's going to work great. Now we have paired it with a number 2 that is also a stripe. And this is very cool. So it's very much a tone-on-tone stripe, but it still has that elegant feel, much like your fabric does. It almost looks like some of these could be in your fabric because it's such a close kind of style and feel. Now, once again, we have a stripe. It's a more subtle stripe that is going to go everywhere you see this cream here on this quilt. Now, once again, cut it just like the pattern states, and your stripes are going to turn the right direction. It's going to give you the coolest look. This pattern is so good for that. I love it. Okay, number 3, we have paired your fabric with this gorgeous black because yours has all of this black in it. And this also has a metallic. It's a little diamond. It's not exactly a stripe, but it has that 2-way direction to it because there's a top and a bottom to this diamond. So it's going to act a little bit like a directional fabric. Once again, it works perfect. So if you have a number 3 that's a stripe, this is the pattern to go for. So we're going to put it everywhere you see this darker rust, right in the center here and right in the center here. So once again, just follow the instructions. It'll cut right so that the length of your diamonds will be going the right direction. And I love this with your fabric. And you can see how the stripe works in this Courtyard pattern. Love your focus fabric there. Gives all the little hints of the metallic, all the little hints of the beautiful designs in that stripe. And then the number 2 works perfectly. I love this for that. I think it turned out really great and made a very elegant quilt for you. So I'm so grateful that you kept the fabric and sent it to me so we can all learn about stripes and what one of the great patterns are. All right, so Diane, for participating today, I'm going to be sending you the number 2 fabric and the number 3 fabric, 1 yard of each, as well as the book Fast and Fun 3-Yard Quilts, which has our Courtyard pattern in it. Now, before I share the kit for everyone else that we've pulled, I want to talk about the quilt that is behind me. This quilt is called Puzzle Me This, and it's from Quick and Easy 3-Yard Quilts. And the reason why I have this one hanging back here is because it also would work with 3 stripe fabrics. A stripe is a 2-directional fabric, and it's going to work beautifully in this one, just like our Courtyard. So keep that in mind when you've got lots of stripes to work with, because I know I love stripes and I love putting them in quilts. They look amazing. All right, let's check out what we have for everyone else. Now, I could not find the exact fabric like Diane had, but I always try to find something similar in feel. And here I have a nice navy blue with a floral stripe on it, which I really, really like. This almost looks like one of the border prints, but it's not. It could be used that way, but we're going to use it in this great Courtyard pattern. So once again, it's a stripe. It's going to go everywhere you see the floral here. Now we have paired it with our nice beige that has a very similar feel that same flavor and vintagey look of Victorian times almost, or something like that. That's our number 2. It will go everywhere you see the cream. And then for our black, this one is a stripe. This is so cool. It's a very subtle, a very soft stripe. It almost has a tiny, tiny little vine on it that creates the stripe, and it's not a hard edge. It's a very cool, has the black and beige in it that coordinates so well with our focus fabric as well as our number 2 fabric. That will go everywhere you see the rust here and in the center of our block here. So anxious to share this image with you because I want you to see how the stripe works. Once again, 3 stripes in every position, and whenever you follow the directions and cut as it's stated, you see how perfect those stripes land. And don't you love that number 1 fabric on the border? It gives so much interest and movement on that border, which is very different. I love how this turned out. Now, if you guys are working with stripes, let me know. I want to see what patterns you put them in. I want to see how you work with them. And if it's a metallic stripe like Diane's, even better. I really want to see it. So let me know. Send that to welisten@fabriccafe.com. Okay, let me get you the kit information on this one. It is called Elegance. The name of the pattern is Courtyard, and it is from the book Fast and Fun. Now, I'd like to share a quilt that was sent in by Carol. Carol was a participant on the Matchmaker episode 29, and we used the Synergy pattern for her fabric. Now, her fabric was a batik in the number 1 position, and you can see it there. It's kind of the blue and the beige batik. It's very pretty. And she used the number 2 fabric in that square. Absolutely love it. I think it turned out beautiful, Carol. Great job. And this is a fun, fun pattern when you have smaller prints like Carol did. So perfect. Way to go. And I want to thank everyone who participated today. If you would like to participate in Matchmaker, all you have to do is go to fabriccafe.com, click on our free goodies tab at the top of the screen, and then go to our Matchmaker submission form, which is there. Now, I prefer a 12-inch swatch if possible. And if you would like more ideas on using metallic fabrics, watch the video that pops up. It's Fran Morgan, your fabric matchmaker.